So for question 4, instead of being given variables x and y, we're given variables p and m. So don't be alarmed. We can still solve this equation because there's still two equations, two unknowns. So let's start by labeling our equations. I'm going to call my first equation equation 1. And let's call my second equation equation 2. So from here, because I already have p by itself, so remember, I either want p by itself or m by itself for in either equation 1 or 2. In this case, since equation 1 has p by itself, I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm going to plug that into equation 2. So plug equation 1 into equation 2. So let's do that. We have 4m minus 6p plus 30 equals to 0. So if I happen to plug in p, I know that in equation 1, p equals to 2 over 3 m plus 5. So I plug that value of equation 1 into equation 2. I finish off by saying plus 30 equals to 0. Now what I want to do is simplify and solve for m by isolating it onto one side. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to multiply negative 6 into my brackets. So if I do that, I have negative 6 times 2 over 3m and negative 6 times 5. Okay, so let's see what that simplifies to. Negative 6 times 2 over 3. Now remember, as an aside, when you have negative 6 times 2 over 3, what you actually have is negative 6 over 1, right? So because negative 6 can be written as negative 6 over 1, what you want to do here is you want to multiply your numerators by the numerators and the denominators by the denominators. So what you get is you have negative 6 times 2, and for your denominator, you actually have 1 times 3. So in this case, negative 6 times 2 should get you negative 12. And 1 times 3 should just get you 3. So what we're actually going to get when we multiply negative 6 into 2 over 3 is we're going to get minus 12 over 3m. Now, negative 6 times positive 5, that should give us negative 30. And now I also have plus 30 equals to 0. So from here, let's try to simplify. So let's start by getting rid of our like terms. Because we have like terms in 30 and minus 30, I would say minus 30 plus 30, that should be 0. So I am just left with 4m. Oh, I put too many negatives here. Notice that now. There should just be one negative here. So I'm just left with 4m minus 12 over 3m. So let's write that down. 4m minus 12 over 3m equals to 0. And now let's try to reduce 12 over 3. So when I reduce 12 over 3, I realize something. Negative 12 over 3 reduces to 4. That means I have 4m minus 4m equals to 0. But 4m minus 4m, that just gives me 0. So I actually have 0 over 0. Now, when I have 0 over 0, this tells me something. It actually tells me that equation 1 equals to equation 2. And we kind of talked about this case yesterday. When that happens, when equation 1 equals to equation 2, we actually have infinite solutions. And I guess another way to write this would be the infinity sign and then solutions. So we actually have infinite solutions for this system of equations. And that's what I would leave it as.